Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video. So today we're doing another free-to-play champion showcase, and yes, it has been a while since the last one of these, but I hope you guys have appreciated that I have been uploading a lot of content over the past month or so, and that on top of the searching for the particular niche situation in which I do use the specific champion kind of added to the lag here. So today's topic, or today's champion showcase, is going to be on Gliseah Soulguide, and this was the winner of the last poll on the community tab page, and so we're going to be covering her kit and the build as well as where I use her. Funnily enough, with the recent release of Lord Entertainer Fabian, I think she's going to see a little bit more play on my account in particular, and hopefully yours if you do have her as well, but that'll make a little bit more sense once we go through her kit. So what does Gliseah Soulguide do? Let's start off with the passive, because that's kind of like her main selling point in terms of her utility, although it could be better, but nonetheless it's a decent start in terms of what she can provide. So first off, timeless. She cannot have her skills put on cooldown at all. Doesn't matter who, Fabian, Gliseah, whoever, Warlord, Yumiko, whoever, you cannot lock her skills at all whatsoever. And I do believe to this day, at least at the time of this recording, she is the only champion in the game that has this as part of her passive. But whenever an enemy tries to put her skills or anyone on your team's skills on cooldown, it will place a freeze on that champion, and it has a 50% chance to deny the cooldown increasing effect. So there's a 50-50 shot that your skills won't be locked out just by having her on the team. And more importantly, that freeze, kind of like Lady Noelle with Sir Nick, it cannot be blocked or resisted. So the Yumiko will freeze herself, the Warlord will freeze himself, the Fabian will freeze himself. Now, in fairness, when it comes to Lord Fabian in particular, of course, he's effectively immune from CC, meaning that he'll remove the freeze once he gets his turn. But we'll talk about how blessings can help counter that a little bit, as well as countering Fabian specifically. Now, as I mentioned, I do wish that this was, instead of like 50%, I wish it was like 75% chance, just to make her a bit better. Or if it was instead like whenever an enemy tries to put, or I guess on top of it, whenever they try to put her skills or an ally skills, it increases her turn meter by X for however many turns they were locked out, or something like that. Something to kind of push her further in line so that we can get to the rest of what she could do in her kit. So on the A3 here, places block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown, but also has a 60% books to an 80% chance to place freeze on all enemies for 1 turn. And then she fills her turn meter by 15% for each freeze placed by the skill. So again, it would be nice, like I said, if she kind of could cut in line, just cut in, put block debuffs on your entire team, even if they're locked out, even if they're not, and then place the freeze on the enemy team to kind of cut in and CC them a little bit. On the A2, we have an AoE attack that will place a weaken for 2 turns, which is pretty nice, but it will also steal 1 random buff from each enemy under freeze. And obviously, you know, this might be hard to pull off, but again, if you're placing the freeze with the A3, then you're a lot more likely to go again before they are unfrozen. And that's kind of the synergy between the A3 and the A2. And then if you didn't get enough freeze, she also has freeze on the A1 here. They can also apply a debuff spread, and it'll take 1 random debuff from the target and place it on all enemies under freeze. So lots of freezing in the kit, lots of synergy with freeze in her kit. So if I had to give her a grade, I'd say she's probably somewhere in like the B- territory. She's serviceable in one particular niche, but she's not like the most reliable way to deal with that niche, which is of course countering lockout champions. If you have mythical champions on your account, Lady Mikage comes to mind, at least the one that most people will have. Another way to counter lockout is just to change forms and do whatever you're going to do, or do whatever you want to do on the second form, and just ignore the fact that you were locked out on the base form. So now let's hop into the build here, and I have her in Untouchable and Resistance. Now, Untouchable is my proxy for Stone Skin. I've mentioned this a few times on the channel, but I personally don't use Stone Skin. I think it's really, really powerful, really, really broken, and I just can't get myself to use it against other people. However, that is not a mandate. That's just my personal opinion, so feel free to continue using Stone Skin to your desire, and definitely most people in the game do. But if you want to think about it, so effectively she's in a 4-piece Stone Skin set and then a resistance set for extra resistance. In terms of the stats, I kind of have her in what I'm calling a hybrid build, where she has a decent amount of resistance, but we're also have enough accuracy so that we're going to land her debuffs if we're going against people, you know, nukers and stuff, people that have low resistance. The resistance helps her to kind of dodge polymorph from, you know, 1, 2, 3 star polymorph that you might have, the enemy might have on someone who's low accuracy and nuker, but also she can just dodge some of the CC and other stuff that people might throw out there with champions who just happen to have low accuracy, and nukers come to mind again there as well. But total stats are as follows: 64,000 on the HP, 3,800 on the defense. She is defense based, so that's kind of high no matter what you do. 241 on the speed, 548 on the resistance, and 337 on the accuracy. In terms of the gear pieces, we do have accuracy on the banner with decent speed rolls. On the amulet, we have a bunch of resistance. On the ring, we have HP with some HP and some defense. Not the best ring, but she's not, you know, again, my most used champion. On the boots, we have speed with a quintuple roll on the resistance. Granted, 5-star boots, but nonetheless, one of the few pieces on my account that is a quintuple roll, mythical with a quad. But yeah, resistance there with a little bit of accuracy. We've got defense on the chest with some speed, accuracy, and resistance. Basically a full split of everything we want in the build. HP percent on the gauntlet, speed with a little bit of resistance. The shield, we have resistance, speed with some accuracy. The helmet, speed, accuracy with some resistance, some HP. And then the weapon, sensing the theme here, speed, resistance with some accuracy. So I'm biasing her towards resistance, but I'm trying to make sure that basically every single piece has accuracy alongside it in some way or some form. In terms of the blessing, I hinted at it earlier, but we are running Lightning Cage. One, because it just has the 50-50 chance to protect her block debuffs in case someone has to, or someone tries to steal it or something like that. But as I talked about with Lord Entertainer Fabian, just having one stack of Lightning Orb is a buff that Fabian cannot decrease the duration of, therefore he will not get the extra turn. So you run her in your team with Lightning Cage, and whatever else you have her on, Stone Skin could work as well, but she can't be locked out, and then she might 50-50 chance block his lockout of your enemy team. Plus her having an effective buff with the Lightning Cage means that he won't get the extra turn, so you have a chance to do something before he comes around and True Fears and Petrifies and whatnot. In terms of the masteries here, we're obviously indexing into the defense and support tree. She is not a nuker by any means, and so we're kind of going a lot of the defensive stuff to trying to keep her alive, more tankiness, more healing, solidarity because she places block debuffs, unshakable for the extra resistance, and then we're kind of picking up a decent amount of the accuracy stuff ending on Lore of Steel. And then I opted to not really finish out the T5 on the support tree because she places freeze and a weaken, and I don't really rely on the weaken. In fact, I usually just spam the A1 afterward, just trying to land more freezes, but I digress. All right, so here we are in the classic arena, and of course arena is her primary mode of operation, so we're going to be on the hunt for some lockout teams. However, we're going to choose some lockout teams within reasons, because obviously there is a Yumiko here, but this is a team that I would never ever face because it's going to be super fast, +3, empowered Siphi, cracking roots on the Marius. Yeah, that's a bit too much for what my champions can be able to handle. But here we do have a curated fight here against a Lord Entertainer Fabian, so we get to see that counterplay in action. So unfortunately we are going second relative to this team. I don't try to compete in speed races, so we're going to go a little bit more defensive with the Necret and the Harima, but we are going to make sure to bring in Gliseah here, and we'll see 50-50 chance to not get locked out. So we'll see what happens here, but you'll note that he will get frozen whenever he tries to do it. Or I guess he has intercept on, so I guess he won't get frozen. He'll block the freeze, but nonetheless, again, we have the decrease the buff duration. So, or sorry, we cannot decrease the duration of Lightning Cage, and so we are still immune from the extra turn, which is kind of the most important thing. So it looks like Galathier, he has resistance, so maybe he just resisted it on his own. I don't know about anyone else who wasn't really paying attention. Necret, he might have resisted it as well. Let's protect her. And then Harima, did he get it? No, it was blocked. So there you go. We got to see it in action there on Harima. He did not get the lockout. It was blocked by the Gliseah passive. So let's go ahead and take out the bomb champion. Let's do, I guess he's already frozen, so maybe just A1 on Arbiter. Yeah, he's going to become cleansed, not a big deal. We've already basically won this fight, so there you go. I was wondering if we were actually going to get lucky enough to see it in action, and yeah, there you go. There's the prime example of just her being on the team. Obviously, a couple of resistance or high resistance champions can help as well, but her just existing on the team allowed us to not be locked out due to Lord Entertainer Fabian. So super good counter there. If we can stop weak-hitting, there we go. Nope, we still weak-hit anyways. Okay, let's see if we can find ourselves another lockout style team. All right, we've got a fresh page here, and we've got some more Fabians to try and beat. Let's start off with this super pay-to-win team here, but they actually don't really have a win condition, so we could take advantage of that. So we're definitely going to run the Siphi Rhodos. That is my like de facto counter for Star Sage Galathir. And then we need Mithrala to bait out the Armons. And then of course we need Gliseah herself. Now it's kind of a side benefit when it comes to Armons, but you know, whenever he tries to lock out on the A1, he could also freeze himself. Obviously that's usually after he's done the AoE stun, so it's not really as useful, but nonetheless it is an honorable mention to something that he could potentially do. So it looks like we got lucky there, and we were actually faster somehow. But yeah, you can see both of them. They both got frozen. They both tried to lock out. Mithrala has high resistance, so that's kind of irrelevant in terms of that. He's going to cleanse it off. That's unfortunate. But nonetheless, we cut in, and that's really all that matters here. So we can start picking them off slowly but surely. Take care of these two, and then I guess we could start focusing on our mons a little bit. Yeah, but Siphi got locked out, or no, Siphi went first. Never mind, she did not get locked out. So I wasn't really looking for it, but there is a chance that Siphi's revive did not get locked out. I did notice though that they both happened to weak hit on Rhodos, and so there we go. Wow, that's an interesting. Oh boy. Okay. Well, yeah. So there's this A1 where he gets frozen trying to, that was interesting. He gets frozen trying to use his A1 to lock him out, and it was denied, looks like. But yeah, very interesting. He kind of slid towards us in a very, very creepy way. But anyways, yeah, the hard part of this fight is going to be obviously taking care of the Galathir because he is Force Affinity. But slowly and surely we will be able to win against this team because, like you said, there is no win condition. So yeah, where is Armons? Is he in front of me or is he behind? I don't even know. It's fine. All right, let's put him to sleep. This is so weird. I've never seen this bug before. Where is he? I don't know where he is. I don't know how to click him. Interesting. Well, hopefully he becomes targetable at some point, wherever he is. Interesting. What an interesting bug. So yeah, there's always something weird that happens when you can freeze champions of some sort. Extra turn. Is he in Relentless? Or what is that? Oh, there we go. Okay, he's back to normal. Hooray! That's so funny. Fun bugs in the game. Let's try and get rid of the passive. I don't know if that was enough to pop it. Oh man, this Relentless is going ham. Jeez, okay. Either that or he's in Rebirth, but no, I think he got an extra turn before the, or not on, let's see, lockout. Okay, locked out Siphi and decreased the buff here, but I think he weak hit Rhodos once again. Oh darn, he took so many extra turns, his passive is back. Alright, well, you guys get the idea. I'll come back to you at the end of this fight. Alright, so thankfully for us, the Galathir switched formed, and he is now vulnerable to finish off there. So yeah, very slow fight. But nonetheless, showcasing multiple times that we got saved a little bit by Gliseah. So let's try this Taurus team here, which is going to be a little bit more difficult. So let's see if we can craft a team. I might have to bring in a Torment on this one. We probably don't even need Siphi in this case. We could probably run the Ancora, and then let's bring in the Torment and hope that we can free some people along the way. There's no cleanser. That's the important thing for this team in particular. But that's the thing we're going to try and take advantage of here. But yeah. Okay. Instant sheep. That's not good. But you know what? That's fine. Because he froze people with the A1, so we'll take that. But once again, blocked the extra turn from Fabian, so we can cut in here. We can do that. Might as well take care of the Arbiter. And let's see if we can freeze there. Okay, we didn't freeze the Lydia, but yeah. For some reason, I don't know, her A3, it's an 80% chance. I feel like it should just be a 100% chance to freeze. But I don't know, I digress. But yeah, so we should be able to take care of this team here. That starting off with the free, I guess someone, oh, Taurus put a fear out, and that's why he, okay, deterrence procced on Torment. That's what happened there. But yeah, so basically this one is on lock, so we'll take that. I think the Fabian was in pinpoint, so maybe that's why he himself didn't get frozen. Actually, we don't want him to die because then Lydia will come back. But yeah, there we go. Cool. Yep, I think that at that time, you know, obviously Fabian is, of course, weak to Magic Affinity Champion, so there is a chance that he might have weak hit on Ancora instead of locking her out. The order in which you put your team might actually matter, so I think if Gliseah is closer to the front, you might actually land the freeze when they try to lock her out, and thus they won't actually lock anybody else up. But we can we can test that a little bit here with this He-Man team. So let's move her further up the list. And I guess we're going to be paying more attention to, well, I guess everyone on the team. We'll see. Because Fabian could weak hit Ancora and or Rhodos. So let's see if that is the case here. I'll try to watch. Oh, okay, never mind. Tormund did his thing. That's perfect. And we got locked out on Rhodos, but not anybody else. Ow, that's going to hurt. Okay. Extra turn. Sweet. Everyone is frozen. So, yeah, Tormund coming in clutch there. We'll take that. And at this point now, we can go ahead and freeze. More importantly, though, the block debuffs is what's handy there. And so we can take advantage of that and protect us from anything else. Hopefully we get a turn here before He-Man. Oh, rip. That's not good. Okay. Well, I guess we might actually lose this one. That's unfortunate. Unless Tormund can save us here. As long as we buy enough time for Ancora to get back around to her abilities, then we might actually have a chance. Unless she gets petrified, unfortunate. And yeah, she is stealing the fear from from Tormund, which is not helpful in this instance. Well, we'll see. I have enough resistance for Lydia, but I don't have enough for the Fabian. So hopefully we can not get locked out here. I think he has his skill available again. We'll see if we can save this one. No, we're locked out again. Barn. Darn. Okay. Well, maybe we can put together a slightly different team that can take this one down. But I think we got, bad RNG, right? It's still always going to be the 50-50 chance to get locked out. And so in this case, Rhodos did happen to get locked out there, and it's not really going to be able to, or not going to be able to do a whole lot here. I think He-Man's going to finish this off, unfortunately. But yeah, I think we can run that back, but instead of running the Ancora, let's put her in the lead. Let's run the Siphi instead and basically try the exact same thing, but with a little bit more chance to control them a little bit better here. So there we go. He cleanses the freeze, locked out on Siphi. Looks like it got blocked on Rhodos, so we should be able to do something there. Unfortunate that He-Man here is in, whatchamacallit, in Stone Skin, so we can't really do anything about that. But in this point, we should be able to take out, oh, so close. Almost took out Arbiter. But we might actually be screwed, because I guess I should have killed He-Man there. Let's see, hopefully replace the freeze, that'll work. Although now we're true feared, which might prevent us from doing anything. If that kills him, then we don't have to worry about his passive, but I think He-Man will probably finish him off, unless freeze. Oh, that A1 freeze, like I said, it does come in handy. We're still true feared, unfortunately. Oh, okay, there we go, didn't proc. We're good, we saved it. Rhodos for the win. And Gliseah's A1 for the win. Hopefully Rhodos doesn't die, though. We need him to stay alive. There we go. Sweet. So we were able to get that one down. But yeah, that was a case where Fabian, where the lockout was prevented once again by Gliseah's passive. So final thoughts. Once again, she is a pretty niche but pretty strong champion. However, it's just not a guarantee. It's a 50-50 shot that she could prevent it from being locked out. But you do always have the chance that you always have the guarantee that she will never be locked out. And she will always place the freeze debuff on the lockout champion. And Fabian, of course, he can cleanse it off himself. But a Warlord, a Crixia, Yumiko, they will always freeze themselves because it cannot be blocked or resisted, regardless of the amount of accuracy that she might have. Now, I think it goes without saying, but she's pretty much an arena-specific champion. I mean, but then again, she could also just be kind of a semi-reliable AoE freeze champion if you want to use her in dungeons or faction wars or anything like that. Definitely not made for like clan bosses or anything like that. Maybe Doom Tower Wave, she could be useful. Curse City, she could come in a pinch. I think I've used her once or twice, AoE freeze. But yeah, she's primarily an arena champion. I think that's pretty darn clear. And in terms of live arena, I don't think she's the best for live arena just because you have to forfeit, a support slot on your team to put her in there. And even then, you're not really guaranteed to prevent the lockout, which might be a little bit too strong of a passive if they gave her 100% chance, but maybe like a 75% chance would be more reliable or more consistent enough to use her in live arena against Warlords and Yumikos and Crixias and Fabians and whatnot. That said, I have used her in a handful of fights here and there, and she has saved me in some some instances, and a lot of instances she does absolutely nothing. So again, it's kind of a gamble in terms of the RNG. But yeah, that is going to do it for the free-to-play champion showcase for Gliseah Soulguide. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of her as a champion. Do you agree with my grading of the B-, or do you think she should be higher, lower? And if you do happen to have her and use her, what is your build for her going in? As always, if you did find this video helpful, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel. And if you are enjoying the content overall on this channel, then feel free to hit that subscribe button down below as well. Be sure to check my community tab page after this video goes live to see the poll for the next champion for a free-to-play champion showcase. Thanks for watching and have a good one.